to interrupt for 1 second. Tracy dialed in, so she has audio, not video. So I will turn over the floor to her, and there she is. Okay, now we have video. Okay, Tracy. Well, she's okay. We hope you've been able to listen into some of this. And you're on mute now, though, Tracy. Yeah.
I did listen to a lot of it. Sorry, I was on the line literally with Xfinity for half an hour, but they finally put me back up. I apologize so much. I had been planning for this for weeks. I was so excited about it. But anyway, you guys are doing a great job.
I'm happy you're here now.
What have I missed? Maria and I were talking earlier about the history. Have you gotten to that yet? The sort of the decades of U.S. foreign policy. And I know Kate, I'm sure, is talking or has talked or will talk about kind of, what is or is not changing under Biden, because I think that's a valuable thing to look at. So if those are issues you haven't touched on yet, that's what I would love to hear about.
We just talked about those things.
Oh, okay. So much for that. Are we into questions yet from our audience?
We have not taken any questions yet. Kate just made some provocative comments about how the Biden administration is transporting people from one part of the border to another and then having them cross where they don't have any idea and no contacts there, no support there, and that's not getting reported much. That was a surprise to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating to watch how the Biden administration is trying to handle this. They're kind of emphasizing root causes and all of that, but they seem to be making a lot of the same mistakes or, policy choices, controversial or otherwise, that others have made. And you might have talked about this, but Vice President Biden, was responsible for this, what was it, Alliance for Prosperity, and basically threw millions of dollars at corrupt leaders, and it led to nowhere. And then, of course, things got much worse under Trump when the anti-corruption agencies were dismantled, like CSIC and Maki and those organizations. So it will be interesting to see if Kamala Harris, and she has some very good people working with her. She is not an expert in this region, but I know there's a lot of advice coming to her saying you've got to do it differently.
But you have to have a tremendous amount of capacity for leadership. And that's what we were talking about, Tracy, in terms of really telling the truth about this region, right? So, I reported in the year 2007 when I was at Now on PBS doing long form television documentary about the $28 billion, billion with a B, that were given to Boeing Corporation to build a so-called cyber wall that was going to be so technologically cyberistic, that was the term back then, that no one would be able to penetrate it. Where did those $28 billion go? And so imagine if those $28 billion had been given to small, grassroots, community-based, economic empowerment, small business, that kind of thing that would allow people to stay. Mm-hmm. But again, I think what's very frustrating for me is just the lack of imagination on the part of right now the Democratic administration, because they should know better. This is a bunch of BS. And the reason why it's not, as Kate, you were saying, journalists are asking the wrong questions. And it's because I just think that they need to do more work. And now I don't want to blame just the journalists, right? This has been going on for a long time in terms of whether it's erasure or misinformation coming out of Central America. But it's an old story. Seriously, the fact that it's being repeated over and over again is just grotesque.
Yes. I remember in the 2014 unaccompanied minor crisis, people got so excited in the United States, and they're, because it became politicized. And I was like, well, wait a minute, we've been doing this for years. And so I think a lot of us who've been in the region for a while think that